Hi, welcome everyone.
Sweet.
What are we today? It's the 13th of February 2017. Um, the weekly webinar, Noyantis Usergroup webinar. And hi to everybody who's attended and everybody who watches afterwards via the recording. I think we've got a busy schedule for this week. I know, John, you're going to show off your app to do with the SMS. Is that
Yeah,
correct? That's very good.
that is correct.
We got asked a question on the news group the other day, so I was going to cover for the recording, cover the docking pane and a quick use. Somebody was wanting to basically slide the listing and then slide the list back, so we'll cover that. I suppose quickly start with updates from basically feedback from these actual webinars. First one was Property Grid. Where are we, John? This was your request. There we go. Let's open this up. And your request was, and I'm trying to think what it was now.
Oh, when you click on it to have it highlight the whole row.
That's right. 3.57. Got some new ones there. Ignore that. Yeah, new option. So without that option turned on, the Property Grid would operate along the lines of this. So I click here and I've gone to the 880, and if I click there, it's the wherever the position the cursor and so on. Now, as if by magic, under appearance, we have select all item content when editing. Just tick that. Give it a quick compile. Oh, sorry, wrong one. Now, that's what you was after.
Excellent.
So it will take on there's buttons. So let's just, I'm sure someone has got a button somewhere, possibly. A date. That's a very good one. There. So if I click on the date, it's all there, but the button is activated straight away. So I was elsewhere and click straight to the basically, the reason I'm highlighting that is the way it was implemented, the way I ended up having to implement it, did knock the in-place buttons slightly off by a little. But no, they, as you can see, that's been rectified. Doesn't work on radios and checks because there's nothing to select. You won't want to do that. The same with the single checkbox and the numerous checkboxes. But for all your others, where applicable, it works as expected. So the font, we don't do it on the font type. I don't think people really use a font, to be honest, but then again, could do. But for numbers, strings, sliders, spins, that type of thing, yep, no problem. All works accordingly. That is tried and tested. That's ready in a releasable state. And the other was, and I think this was David who requested this. I'll quickly open David Patterson's mic. David, are you there? Oh, I think I put him on the spot. I'm not sure.
Andy.
Hi. Yep. The request regarding loading from a table, so you can just quickly specify, and that's come on quite a lot. So as you can see on this one, just a property grid, no fields from the actual table on the screen, and I said it's loaded from a file. In this group, I've still kept the categories. In this group, we've specified some fields. In this group, I've specified some more fields. And in this one, I've just said a file. and I've not excluded any, but if I wanted to, I could exclude. And to see that in action, it's basically all of this is read from the dictionary. So you can see that that one is disabled, and it's told in the dictionary to be disabled. This one is just regular. That one is uppercase, so it's automatically uppercase. Passwords are passwords. There's the all, so you can see the different types of fields I've got in this dictionary just for testing purposes. But yes, the date, some C strings, decimals. Just playing about. Ignore the time one because I was literally just doing the time now. But yes, basically it will pick up drop options. So if you've got validation in your dictionary to say it's got to be within a in list, then it picks up this. If you've got A and B instead of true and false, then it will pick up. So it's got to be a checkbox, but you want it to be rather than true or false. Then it will pick up. Basically, it picks up all the details from the dictionary.
Yeah, very nice.
This one's set as a spin, so it automatically puts it as a spin. This one is a spin, but it's got a limit, as specified again in the dictionary, all from the dictionary. There's no embedded code in this at all. So it's really taking shape. We'll get the time one sorted. Get the time one sorted. Gonna generate a series of embed points, and I think when that's done, that'll be in a releasable state as well. Obviously, that will be subject to a lot of testing. But if you want a beta of that, that's not a problem. I think you requested it. You can probably make good use of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the embed points will, if you manually built one with the content specified in the template, so along the lines of this, then if memory serves, you get a item accepted. Oh, okay. I expected to get a series of embed points there to tell you which one. I mean, what I mean by that is in the command bars, if we have you specify in the template 10 different controls, it creates you an overall item acceptor, but it does specify the actual individual controls there to tell you which embed point. I'm going to do the same with the load from the basically the dictionary, so you can say okay, it will give you the embed points just as you would normally in an accepted.
Oh, I got you. So you can override those.
Yeah, basically what I would expect is in here. We'll just run it so we can see what fields we've got. So we've got cust code, cust company name, cust address 123, that type of thing. From an embed point of view, in the property grid item accepted, you'll have the overall, which is what you've got there, but you'll have a series of extra embed points under here specifying the cust code, cust company name, cust address 1, just as you would if it was a normal field. So you'll be able to put your code in there for accepted.
Right. Okay.
So that's that. It's getting very close to a good testing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's looking good.
So that's it for updates. At the moment, that's taken a bit more work than first thought. But what's coming out the other side is pretty good. And just from a point of view of how it's been implemented, it actually builds out in the source. You can say basically load from template, load it from a queue, and then if you ever need to change the queue, basically the queue's been expanded to have a few more options in it, which is good for the overall product anyway. But all the fields will be in there, so you can manipulate that queue if you ever needed to, turn something to be required, and get it to repaint. Just basically change your queue, and it would automatically update. So yeah, so you've got all the usuals here: required, hide, read only, password, so on and so forth.
And you get that by item ID, right? Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So it's the item ID, cus code, company name, and so on and so forth. So they are your fields, and they're the embed points. That's how the embed point will look up. So it'll be item accepted, and you'll just see that particular name. But if you ever needed to manipulate, rather than going setting the properties of one particular item, which you could still do, you could just change the queue, and the class would see it and change basically a thing being required or not. So it keeps the code very simple for you.
And you just change the queue? You don't need to notify the...
No, I mean, basically it doesn't want to take events, so if you're doing it in a particular place where no event is triggered, then yes, you would have to maybe just post a dummy event to the window so it can go and do some kind of event. But in reality, chances are some kind of event has happened, so it will automatically do it.
Right, just change it and it should react.
Yeah. It's basically. If we look at this example where it's from queue, me pressing a button, of course, causes the Clarion's event loop, new selection. So, but basically that's not doing anything with the property grid. It's just manipulating a queue, just regenerating random data in a queue, and the property grid changes accordingly. So yours will work the same way.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Okay. So yes, basically, I should have that by Friday. If you want to drop me an email, I'll send a beta version to you.
Okay.
Okie dokie.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks, Andy.
No problems. John, do you want to show yours? We haven't got questions at the moment, let's have a look at yours. You might have to, I know everybody's seen it, so you might have to give a quick intro, but that's good.
Yeah, let me go ahead and grab the, hold on just 1 second. Let me grab the screen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. All right, so a lot of people already saw this, but I'll show it again. I have the program running on the other screen. It's just coming up. Okay, so there we go. So there's my program, and we're going to look at me. Go. And here, okay. So this is the fun stuff right there. All right, so basically this is a text messaging thing. So if I can send messages out of it and I can receive messages back. And just to demo it, oh, there it is. Okay. This is Google Voice. Go ahead and delete these. Google Voice has SMS in it, so we're going to use this and pretend it's somebody's phone. So if I send a message to this number, oops. Oh, I can't even type today. Okay, so I'm going to send this over to the Google Voice. There it is, showed up over here, and I'm going to reply to it. Let's say, thanks, I received it. Send. And then it's going to go through, and it's going to a NetTalk server. That's on my machine, and then this is on a timer, and then it receives it here. So you can kind of text back and forth right in your program. So I was going to show how I did this, how I coded it, because it wasn't too difficult. This is a report control, and then this is just XAML in the middle here. So I'll just kind of show you where all that sits. And then Andy, I was going to see if there's any way we can get rid of these little dots down here. That's like an empty row that I put at the bottom just so it scrolls up enough to see this message.
Okay.
But even when you tell it not to select, it still puts up these little gray dots around everything. It'd be really cool if we could get totally rid of
today's challenge.
Today's challenge is to get rid of the dots, so it's just totally white. And it does handle, like, if you have a long text, just as an example. It handles that really well. So I was pretty happy about it. And then it shows you the time and date at the bottom. Okay, so let's get this out of the way. And this is the procedure here, reply to text. We can take a look at the window. Pretty straightforward. This is the phone number at the top, so you know where you're sending it to and the name. And this is the report control, and this is just a text box at the bottom. And then I have it do a character count. That's just on the timer, so that as you're typing, it tells you how many characters you type because you're limited to 164.
I thought it was 160.
Maybe it's 160.
Do you know, I was going to suggest an enhancement there for you, actually, John.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. But is that just a text entry?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it is.
If you use the syntax edit, you can give a real time. You won't need the timer. You can, as you're doing the key press, it can display the character count immediately.
Really?
Yeah,
well, that's probably what I want to do.
I use that in one of mine for creating text messages, and I use a syntax editor. There's no special characters and bold or anything like that. It's just pure text, which is all, an SMS can be and so on. But as you type, you see the characters, and it says how many messages it's going to take up, because we charge for the credits. So as you type, it's saying, take one message, and it splits into two messages, so it's 2 credits it's going to use up. So yeah, so you could do it as you type.
Okay. Well, maybe you could show that when we're done here. Show me how to do it.
Yep.
Okay, so this is just a report control, and it just has one cell in it, one row in it. One row, one cell. Multiple rows, one cell. And I don't think I did anything special. I turned word wrap on. I did that. Other than that, everything's off except for auto sizing. I made it resizable. And everything's okay from there. The other thing I did was turn on the XAML, which I can never find.
Did you have to turn the fixed height off as well?
I did.
Yep, I was going to say.
For word wrap, yep.
You do. Yep.
Yep, so I turned that off. And then, do you know where the XAML's?
Just trying to read myself.
Yep, I never could find it. There it is. There it is. Found it. It's under appearance. Right there. So I turned that on. Okay, so those are the only changes to the report control. All right, let's look back here. Okay, so this is not necessary, I don't think. I must be using this. I use Ultimate XML to send XML back and forth. So that's all that is. It's Clevis that does that. I got a few procedures: load the report control, add a message, and check for incoming messages.
Okay.
First thing it does is loads the report control. So it loads up all the previous text messages that you might have sent back and forth. I'll probably limit that to maybe I think I do limit it. I think I'll limit it back to like 5 days or something. So that if there's a ton of them, don't need to necessarily load those in. And I think I was going to put a little filter on it so you could load in more if you needed to. That's just the timer for the character count. And then it's checking for incoming SMS text messages. That's on the timer. This is sending it. When I send, this is just the code that you need to send text. So I have a separate procedure that sends SMS messages.
Okay.
And that's all that's going on here. And then when I send it, after it's sent, then I add a row to the report control, and then populate it. This is the XAML part, this add message.
Yep.
We're going to look at that in a second. That's what adds the message into the report control. Populate, blah, blah, blah. Okay. And this is just getting the customer key and the phone number from when that identifies the customer, basically, so I know which messages to look at. Okay, so here's the report control. And it makes sure that there's a phone number coming into it, otherwise there's nothing to load. It has a few things with string theory so that we only have numbers. We don't deal with spaces or dashes or anything like that. This is just the query. It's a SQL query to look up all the messages and put it into a queue that's come from that customer. So it's limited by, it's got a date range limit on it and the customer's phone number. That's what this is looking up here. And then it loops through all the queues, all the messages in the queue. And then this is the add message part here where it's doing the XAML stuff.
Yep.
Okay. And add row and add row. So that's all it's doing there. And then this is the XAML stuff here. So if it's if you're receiving it, it formats it one way, and if you're sending it, then it formats it a different way. And all that's doing, it's not complicated XAML, I guess. It makes a grid. The row is auto height for the first row. Then I have a second row, which is 26, which is for the date. That's the little date part at the bottom.
Okay.
And then it's got a couple columns across. When it's on the left side, it's 300.
Yeah.
What is this? This is receiving? Okay. So this is 300 and then 150. And then I flip it if you're sending it. So it's 150 and then 300 over here. So that's all that's doing.
And the grid,
So
the curved boxes, is that the canvas type?
To make it curved, that was this.
Oh, yeah.
This part of it. It puts a radius around the rectangle. And then fills it with different colors. So this one's antique white if it's being sent, and then it's I don't know, some kind of blue, whatever this is. I picked for if it's being, if you send it and if you receive it, it's that antique white thing. Then there's a text block. That's the message itself. It's all through here. There's the message right there. And then this is the date at the bottom. And that's it. That's all I had to do. And then this is exactly the same thing. It's just the columns are different sizes.
Cool.
That's it. That's pretty much it. It's not complicated at all, but it looks awesome, doesn't it?
Yeah. Obviously personal opinion, but yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. Like I said, we in the practice management software, we include texting in there, but when it comes in, we just have it as part of their normal correspondence, and that's a much better view. It's more what people are used to, from their phones. So yeah, you've definitely given me some food for thought.
Yeah, I'm still kind of playing with it. I think I might make it just a little skinnier. I think it's maybe a little bit too wide, but other than that, yeah, it just looks nice. If anybody wants the XAML code, you're welcome to it.
You actually got a question on it, to be honest. David's asked, is each desktop user assigned a unique phone number? I think he's...
Not at this point.
No.
Yeah, at this point I just have one phone number for the store. But, I mean, you could. It's not that difficult, but the way we're doing it is just with just one phone number right now.
Cool. Yes, very nice, John. Very nice indeed.
Cool, thanks. It's just one of those things when you're looking at it, you just go, I know how I can make this look nicer. And I just kind of started looking at how to do it, and yeah, there it is. So now if I just get rid of this, I don't know if it's possible, though, but it'd be really nice.
Well, we can we'll take a look, because there's no other questions coming in yet, so people want to start getting their questions together, by all means do so. We'll look at that now, and then I know we've got a docking pane question which was asked on the news groups. So But don't forget to the syntax editor at the bottom, John. I think that'd be a nice little swap out.
Yeah. Yeah. So you could show me how to do that, then you could see if you can get rid of this.
Yeah, of course. Okay, so
I'll switch it back.
Yep. So let's come off that, and we'll actually let's see if we can find the report control property. Now, Pete said in Clarion it'd be prop no bar, which is great, but we need the equivalent of a prop no bar, but in the report control itself. So just preparing a folder here, this week's webinar. And while that's opening up, I'm going to open up the class as well, and we'll see if we've already got anything catered for. So just for clarity, you're adding it to give a bit of spare space at the bottom. Is that correct?
Yeah, I had to. Otherwise, it was just right up against the bottom, and so I added a blank row at the bottom.
Right, because I was wondering, although I don't know if you, oh no, you won't be able to do it. I was going to say, what about padding on the row? But you can't control the height, and I don't think you can actually do the padding either. So forget that. You can definitely do on other controls. I just don't think you can on the report control. Okay. Yeah. Okay, that's a pity. There's nothing in the class. Sorry, I should have brought it onto that monitor. Sorry about that. So I was having a look. For the browse enhancer, it manipulates the no bar, and we turn it off already in there. So that's not. There's nothing else in there for us for that. Just let Avast do its weekly check. So it's a selected. But basically, we don't want the dots. We don't want any kind of thing. That's correct, yeah?
Right, yeah.
So I would start with the report control, and under that, I would go to the paint manager. Through it there. So report paint manager. Oh, let's have a look at what options we have. So we have not the background. It's going to be more the selected. Select row, fore and back, group. Nope. Okay. you always ask the good questions, John.
I don't know if you're going to be able to do this one.
Let's have a look. One of the options we did put into the software was, obviously you can see that's blue when it's selected, but if we click elsewhere, now it does remain blue. If I go off onto another monitor, which I have just clicked on an Explorer, that remains blue. That wasn't the normal default basically attributes and workings of it. We added the ability for that, so I'm just going to actually find that, because that might be the idea, and not have the actual thing selected and have it so it doesn't show the highlighted row, which would give you the effect that you're after. So I think it was a setting. I'm just going to find the setting and we'll trace it back from there. Retain highlight bar when focus lost, which was a new property which came about, I don't know, maybe a year ago, something like that. Retain highlight bar. Okay. It is so we are doing it by the paint. Okay. I'm going to turn that off. And let's have a look. Does it still show the dots? Okay, so that's probably it. Yeah, we can see it on that. If I click elsewhere, so basically that is the view that you're after. Maybe it's just a case of that, John, and never select the control. Turn the retain off.
I don't think I have it on.
Do you want to just check that? I'll just put in this example. We'll just have a quick add row. So we'll add some blank rows at the bottom, like you've got.
I have it add the row, then it has to select it in order to scroll up. Otherwise, it just kind of sits there.
Yeah, but then you can select a different control. E.g. the text box at the bottom.
Oh, I see. Well, then, yeah, maybe I'll just try that. Yeah, that might work. And then I think they're going to want to select it at some point, like if they wanted to copy the message or something. So then you kind of want to see where it's highlighted, so that's probably okay. So you're saying select that, but then select that. Oh.
So we'll give it a unique ID of clock for. Oh, and I'll turn the alternate off.
Do that. So you're clicking completely off that window, though, right?
No. I'm clicking down here to just to carry in a entry.
See if you can get rid of all the lines.
Oh, just add more, you mean? Or
Yeah, because when I add a row, I do that. I add the row, then I select the bottom one, but the little dashes are still staying there. So you're not selecting the bottom row in order to get it to scroll down.
okay,
It's got to scroll down too.
okay. Fine, yeah, I get you. So we have a scroll bottom because you could just use the navigate for that.
Well, maybe that's what I need to do. Instead of selecting it, scroll to the bottom.
Yeah, so we could just do scroll bottom. So call the method scroll bottom. Obviously, there's other scroll top, scroll next. I think something like that.
Yeah.
So now we don't want to make it look more like yours. We don't want row separators.
Yeah, I get rid of all the grid stuff.
Okay, row, frame, horizontal, no lines, no vertical lines. Not that we're going to tree anyway. We can do that. Okay, yeah, so now
There you go.
Now I can see that selection there. It's an off-white, if you will. So I can see that there's actually a different colour on that. But I bet we could sort that with the set the selected colour.
Yeah, I think that's what I did.
I wouldn't have to do this all the time, but we'll just do this. Oh, there you go.
Yeah. That looks nice. Now, when you click on a row, what you get you get your selection, normal selection. Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine.
So there you go. Wow, we answered one of John's questions. So yeah, basically, I'm using clock just to give it a unique row ID. But we're adding a row, scroll to the bottom, and set the selected back. Which, to be fair, we could probably just do that once. Could probably do that in the init complete. Or it possibly might even be on the template. No. But doing the init complete, and that should still work, because you don't have to do it all the time, just the once. Yeah, there you go.
Cool.
Okay, I'll quickly bring in the syntax edit example, and then we'll move on to questions.
Okay.
So I think in one of the examples of the syntax editor is I update on a particular event that's created from the report control. The syntax editor, the OCX, to show where the current mouse cursor is and so on and so forth. But we can also show a character count. Might even already have it. Yeah, characters there. So there is an example. So as I'm typing, and that will just be very simple. Cursor position changed. I should imagine we're probably doing it in there. Nope. Update character count is actually in the event. So I'm looking for text changed. So that's what you want to listen to, John. You can go to the syntax, go to events, listen for text changed.
Okay.
And then in there, it's just there's a get property text length. Although we could probably make that a little. Should really make that a little better and have that as a built-in method to get character count. I think that would actually work a little better. But for now, for your thing, that would work.
Yeah, that'll do it. Perfect.
Yeah, we for the SMS we do it, and then like I said, we have a quick look and we can see straight away as they're typing how many credits they're going to use off their account. Okay. So, a couple of questions. One is Roberto. Any information on the reminders not being able to dismiss and the event? Well, yes, Roberto. Basically, give an example. Let me actually open it up and get your microphone here. Roberto, you're open.
I'm here. I'm in another meeting, so.
Oh, okay.
But that's okay. I want to see if you got anything on there. Otherwise, I can just tell you what I did to kind of go around it.
I saw you say about you put a dummy one in. Basically.
Yeah, and then I just hit it, so they can't even see it. So.
So
that makes it work.
The thing with what Roberto's reported was on the calendar, on the reminders. It was on the dismiss, wasn't it? If you dismiss this, and we can tell, we can detect it.
Events there. It works the events.
And so on. But if you go to the last one, it doesn't.
It doesn't go through the events.
Yeah. Which is different, to be fair, because this window is the built-in control, built into the OCX. So it's almost as though that's not actually posting back and telling us, which is a bit strange. No, not at present, but the calendar is next on the list, basically. Getting the property grid update finished, and there's two updates there, which we covered at the start of this webinar. The selecting the whole entry when you first click on an item, and the basically putting fields straight from your table. It's going to support the screen as well, but that is going to come in a subsequent build. So I'm going to get that build out hopefully this week. Then it's the calendar, and it's basically to do these reminders. So there'll be an updated demo app, and there will be a couple of new embed points for you. So currently we have one which is occurrence changed. We'll also have something like a reminder dismissed, and it'll pass you the event and so on, so you can get to the actual update your record accordingly, that type of thing, and store the exception, that type of thing. So yes, that will be basically in dev this weekend / by next Monday's webinar. That's all I can really report on that at the moment.
All right.
So sorry about that, but yeah, basically that is next, and I'm gonna put it in front of the other property grid because the property has already had one, and the other thing is just an idea which I had and no one's actually asked for at the moment. I think it'd be a nice enhancement, but you're asking for this, so that takes precedence, obviously.
Well, I found a workaround, so
yeah,
I'm not really much of a hurry. But yeah, it's not what it should be.
No, it should be. So yeah, so although why the last one? Pass.
You got me.
There's the thing. Now that's the last one there. I just dismissed them out of a different order. Oh.
Sí, me desconectaron tantito, pero ya estoy de regreso.
I think Roberto is a little busy there. So basically, yes, that's the plan of attack. Now we've got another question, Alexandro, which you can open the mic. If you can, hi, can you hear me?
Hello, Andy.
Yes, hi.
I hear.
So you're asking, you last week you requested on the report control inline filters the ability to combine. Now, no work's been done on that, but yes, they are going to go in. And I was going to let you specify, basically, just in case people haven't seen last week's webinar, we'll just quickly bring the report control in. So it won't be a second. And it was the inline filtering, was it not? You want it so you can specify basically ranges, is that correct in here?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, one or two parameters.
The what, sorry?
Specify one or two parameters less than or greater than, something like that.
Yes, because currently it's like a contains. So, so I'm just guessing then what we're going to need when you specify the filter for a particular column. We're going to have to specify, inline filtering. We're going to have to specify whether it's a contains or what type of filter.
Yes.
So, yes, basically, what I'm thinking there then is, it's the other one. We've got the inline here, and we say, sorry, not on there. On the filter, yes, mode contains, match starts with, but this is for the overall control. What we're going to have to do is move that to each column's definition.
Mm-hmm.
Because I can see a point where you would want that to be a contains for an email address, that's great, but you'd probably want that to be maybe a greater than.
Let me see. Can you repeat me, please, the last part?
So currently, it's the mode is set to contains, and that is for everything. So if I say it's got to contain post, and I get just the ones which are post, and then let's get something with a bit better. I think there was a Peter. No, it's just trying to think. Code. That's probably a better one. There you go. So they're the ones what contain code. Now, if we go into here and we say mail, it's all the ones what contain code and mail. That's great. And that's great from a contains point of view. But on this one, the contains probably wouldn't cut it for you. So we can say, yeah, it's February, but in reality, you wouldn't want that. You'd probably want it to be greater than. So what I'm saying is you want the mode to be different depending on the column. That's great for a contains. That's great for a contains, but that would probably be better with maybe then greater than a particular value, or maybe this one, the size, and you say you want to be between two values. So you could say between 7 and 10, that type of thing. So we're going to have to move the mode, which is, as I say, here. We can leave that as a default, and I'll just change that to say default mode. But then on each column, we're going to have that inline. We're going to have the filter that mode on here as well, so you can override it and say on there that wants to be a contains, but that one wants to be between two values, that type of thing.
Exactly.
So yes, so yeah. I'm going to look at that. I'm going to do that, but it will be after the calendar update. So, ask next week to see where we're up to. But in reality, it'll probably be more the week after.
Okay.
So that's that. Yep, that's that update. Okay. So there's no other questions on at the moment. So I'm going to quickly cover a question which came in. It was on the news group, and it was on. Well, the requirement was, if I've got it correct, they had a screen. They wanted to show a list. I'm not sure what the list contained, but they wanted to show a list. But they didn't want it there all the time. They wanted to be able to basically bring it, show it under condition, bring it out, let the user do something with it, and then fold it back. And I suggested the docking pane because I think it's a very good candidate for that type of use. So again, just do this. Okay. So this is the docking pane. Any pane can contain one handle, one piece of content, but that can be anything. So there's a list. Let's knock this one down around a little. In fact, no, we'll come up with another example. Actually, no, it's only this week's webinar. We can just use this one. Okay, sorry. So on this, I've got a docking pane. I think I've defined 3 panes. Oh, 4 panes. There's a button and a restore. So I'm going to say that list is closed by default. That pane, sorry. And it goes to the right. And I'm going to get rid of the other panes just to see where we stand. So on our screen, sorry, that list is going to go. So we expect to have these type of controls here. We've got our close button. Looks a bit weird, that close button actually. Flat, yeah. So now we've got our Clarion screen, and of course we can go off and do our things. We said that's go to the right. We can fold it out select what we're after, and I don't know what the timings are, but it should. Yeah, don't know what the timings are on that, but that I'd have expected that to fall back a little faster than that, to be fair. Still a Clarion list, or your embed points are still actioning under that particular Clarion list. So that's it. That's a very quick way of basically having the stuff on there, what you want, but taking next to no screen space up. Another example we can just quickly show something I use on my screens, and it's basically it's a combination with the report control. So I'll just bring something up here now. So yes, we've got a report control. You can have a field chooser, so you can say which fields you want on. But it's pointless having that on the screen all the time. People might use it very, very occasionally, because once they've got the thing set up and they've rearranged it to the how they like it, so they don't use the category, so that can go. Oh, sorry, I've grouped it. Sorry, they don't use a category, and maybe the telephone number is quite important, so they do have the telephone number over here, and so it will save and restore all those settings, but occasionally they do want to be able to bring a field back. Perfect use there, so you can use it, but then have that fall back. So you've got all the power of the field chooser, but again, just using a docking pane to just keep it out of the way. So just a little tip there. And for Steve, whose question it was on the news group, just to show again what we did. So we've got our Clarion window. We have got a pane, but that's just a container. That's the actual docking pane container. And that list, again, is going to... I can't remember if it actually takes on the dimensions of that. No, I don't think it does. So that list could be... that's going to be used as docking pane content. So we've got our normal Clarion window, and so on and so forth. And well, that. So on our pane, we define just one pane. I have it closed by default, so it's visible, but it's closed. We can go in and give it extra things if we need to, and so on and so forth, like the user. The user can't close it, that type of thing. The user can't have it, so it cannot be floated. We don't want it to be floated. We do allow it to be docked. We don't want it to have a title. And we'll make it maybe a bit smaller. And want it to fold to the right. And there's ours. Fold out, do your selection, we'll come back to. Just need to. Should be folding back. Typical. I wonder if it's because it can't get to the control. Bring that over there so I can definitely get to a control on the window. Maybe it's waiting for some kind of other interaction on the window. So fold and go back. Yeah, maybe it's that. That's that for that example. Any other questions? If not, I think it could be a brief one this week. Any other questions or ideas?
Doesn't look like it.
No. Wow. Okay. I think we're done then, if there's nothing else. Yeah, I do believe so. Should we call it?
I think so.
Yeah, I'm a bit shocked. We
Guess we're done.
we normally have lots of questions and so on and so forth, but I don't know. Hopefully, we're doing something right, and people don't have the necessary questions. As always, if anyone has any enhancement ideas and so on, like we've been doing in the actual webinars, property grid, the command bars, and so on and so forth, report control, put them forward. Bring them up at the webinar, email them in, and we'll look at getting them into the actual products as soon as possible. And with that, I think we'll draw it to a close.
Very cool.
Okie dokie. Well, thank you, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
Okie dokie.
What do we got? Wednesday, open webinar. Thursday, net talk, and Friday, Clearing Live. There you go.
399, isn't it? Getting close to that big 400.
$3.99. Yeah, almost.
Oh, cool. Okie dokie. All right. If I don't see you all before, I'll see you Friday.
Right.
Go. Cheers. Thank
Bye,
you.
everybody.
Bye.